The Canadian province of Ontario applies some 25% electricity surcharge in the US in response to Donald Trump's tariff war. This is the latest in the disintegration of relations between the United States and Canada, and a direct response, of course, to Washington some 4 days ago slapping 25% tariffs on trade coming south from Canada. Also, this man, Mark Carney, has been selected to succeed Justin Trudeau as leader of Canada's Liberal Party, and therefore as Prime Minister of the country. He's promising to defend Canada against any threat from the neighbours, meaning Donald Trump, his tariffs and talk of annexation. Let's bring in our correspondent, Christopher Guly, who's joining us from Ottawa. Christopher, good evening to you. Tell us about these tariffs from Ontario against the US.
Ford promised to enact these tariffs, and even though Donald Trump put his tariffs against Canada, and your audience will have to be patient here, the tariffs from the U.S. to Canada bounce back and forth almost hourly at times. Doug Ford said regardless of whether the U.S. tariffs against Canada are suspended, he will go ahead and impose his as he did today. And as you said, 25% on electricity exports to 3 states. Minnesota, Michigan, and most importantly, New York. We're talking about 1.5 million homes. Each day it's going to cost $277,000 US. If Trump doesn't back down, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, said he will shut the electricity off. He's already removed all US alcohol from Ontario shelves, from the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which is the largest provider of alcohol in the world, actually. And he's also forbidden any U.S. companies from bidding on government contracts in Ontario. So Doug Ford is really hammering home the message that you don't mess with Canada, and most importantly for him, Ontario.
It seems in some ways that Trump has met his match, but obviously we'll see how this one plays out. Now, of course, in terms of the leadership of Canada, Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England, many people, of course, will know him for that, but he is a Canadian, and here he is now as leader of the Liberals, succeeding Justin Trudeau. What is his agenda? How will this change Canada's approach to the United States?
Well, as you cited earlier, Mr. Carney, in his acceptance speech last night, devoted a good chunk of it to reminding Donald Trump that Canada is a sovereign country. And again, like Doug Ford, in nicer terms, said, don't mess with Canada. As we speak, Mr. Carney is meeting with the Liberal caucus, with Justin Trudeau, the outgoing Prime Minister. He will also have a meeting with Canada's 10 premiers, premiers of the 10 provinces rather than the 3 territories. And we're expecting as early as tomorrow, he could be sworn in as Canada's next Prime Minister.
And in terms of what he will do next, give us a sense of that.
Well, in terms of logistics for his government, he will have to form a cabinet, and that will come this week. And we expect that a week from today, he will call an election to seek a mandate. It's an election, a general election, that's earlier than scheduled. That one is supposed to happen no later than October 20th. But you've got a situation here where the U.S., the tariff threat, the annexation threat is top of mind for Canada. So his top priority will be, again, defending jobs, defending the economy, reinforcing sovereignty, and down the road, looking at expanding relationships with other allies, most particularly in Europe, starting with trade.
Indeed, and it is worth noting, Mark Carney, a very much rated character internationally, regarded as a smart gentleman indeed, and taking on a job with a real challenge just over the border in Donald Trump. Christopher Guly, thank you, sir, very much indeed for joining us and giving us that breakdown there from Canada. Thank you very much indeed, our correspondent, Christopher Guly.